Hey, before we get started, just a reminder that we have a new design in the store to add to over 100 already in there that you can slap on any shirt, hoodie, mug, cell phone case, whatever you want. So make sure you get one while it's still available. Now back to our regularly scheduled program.
Here before I start recording. Hello, is anyone here? No, nobody's here, so I can record. Okay, so basically this is a men's bathroom, okay? A men's bathroom. So let's take a look. Organic pad. This is people's period, guys. In a male's bathroom. We got tampons right here. Guys, this is fucking insane. This is a male bathroom.
I don't believe it.
People, period.
I don't believe it, Backspill. You're in a female bathroom making this look bad. I want to see men on the door. I want to see men on the door. I don't believe you.
We have pads in a fucking male bathroom.
Oh my God.
Okay.
That's a nice bathroom. Oh, it's the men's bathroom.
Male bathroom, and we do have a female bathroom on this floor. We do have a non-binary bathroom on a different floor.
Wow.
In this building. So there goes woman bathroom. So we have pads.
Wow.
For men who are having periods. So I don't know.
Poor back.
I'm losing my mind. Somebody fucking help me. Peace.
Before we get started with today's video, remember Mad Magazine before they went all woke on us? Among other aspects of life, they would hilariously use satire to mock and expose both the left and right political parties. Well, there's another magazine that's light years beyond that. 100% independent Flip City magazine. I personally think they're better than Mad because they pull no punches. They'll take a stab at not only Klaus, Great Reset, Schwab, Gill, Final Solution, Bates, and St. Anthony Fraudstey, but they'll give you the bad and the ugly about Dennis Zio Prager, Charlie Kirk, and Dan World Economic Forum Red Flag Law Crenshaw. It's an uncensored free speech magazine from great artists and writers that you're going to love. Treating woke like the joke it actually is. There's really no magazine like it. Support these free speech heroes. Go to flipcitymag.com and get a subscription today. The link is in the description.
InfoWars.
Bigger than Rush Limbaugh. He knows who InfoWars is. Playing this joke over here. That's why the deplatforming didn't work.
But here's the question. Here's a question.
Don't touch me again, man. I'm asking you not to touch me.
Well, sure, I just patted you nicely.
I know, but I don't want to be. I don't know.
You want me to get arrested?
I don't know who you are.
It's not just going to take my First Amendment.
Man.
It's not just enough to take my First Amendment.
Myself.
Oh, he'll beat me up.
I didn't say that.
I know I am, but he's so mad.
You're not going to get arrested. I'll take care of you myself.
Silence me. You're not going to silence America.
But there are people.
You are literally like a little gangster thug.
There are people in this country.
Rubio just threatened to physically take care of me.
There are people who feel that they're being
we already got rid of my First Amendment.
silenced. They feel like
he tells you China's the problem, which it is, but they're taking our free speech right now.
Social media platforms, Facebook,
there goes Rubio.
Twitter. Do you believe that these platforms need to be regulated like a public utility, and how do you go about doing that?
Well, I prefer not to. I prefer competition to take care of that. But obviously, we're going to watch closely to make sure that these tools that are being used. I mean, one thing is to say we're going to go after foreign interference.
Look at Alex Jones just staring him down.
Another thing is to
the
say
Democrats
we're
are
going to
raping
go
the
after free
Republicans.
Speech. Because at some point, someone
the
has to make a
Democrats
determination. What's the difference between, misinformation from abroad and differences of opinion within the United States?
And that's happening
here. It's a
here.
very fine line, and that's something we need to be careful about. We don't overreach in that direction.
But then he doesn't know about InfoWars being banned. He doesn't know about the top news story in the country.
About how they, not just how they apply that within the United States,
InfoWars.
but they don't become agents of authoritarian regimes abroad to crack down on free speech. Because
I wonder why Rubio got so mad at me and threatened me
there's
physically.
a balance between,
he just won't let it go.
What is free speech and what people disagree on.
Poor Rubio.
I'm sorry, we gotta get.
Yeah, man, I gotta go to the committee. You guys can talk to this clown.
Oh yeah. Look at this little frat boy, so cool. Go back to your bathhouse. Compromise at the bathhouses. There goes Rubio, little punk. Anyways, You gotta love people that come from authoritarian regimes, and then they don't even appreciate America.
So freedom of speech, what do you mean?
They don't want to get rid of Alex Jones. Alex Jones sends ratings through the roof. CNN doesn't want to get rid of Alex Jones. MSLSD doesn't want to get rid of Alex Jones. Politicians don't want to get rid of Alex Jones. He's good for ratings. When he appears on the scene, you gotta admit, the entertainment value goes to the moon when Alex Jones shows up. So, you know, it's, I don't know. Seems a lot of people say COINTELPRO, and it could be. I wanted to talk about this. 20 federal agents storm home of anti-VAX doctor's home and throw her in prison for 2 months over the January 6th trespassing charge. So you got politicians in there stealing boatloads of cash from hardworking Americans every single day. They're threatening violence against all Americans every single day when they write their rules and their ordinances and their codes and their regulations and their laws. And they're authorizing war every single day. So when somebody breaks in with a cell phone, putting himself on Instagram with his boots up on Nancy Pelosi's desk, that guy gets to go to jail for 5 years, but Nancy Pelosi and her husband get to walk away scot-free as multi-millionaires, and we're just going to focus on the January 6th insurrection. It's the worst thing that's ever happened to our democracy on American soil. It's the darkest day in American history. And they just come unglued at people who are just standing on the Capitol grounds. Even trying to identify and arrest people who just kind of traipsed in. They weren't doing any property damage. They were just kind of going with the flow. They get the IDs of those people and then they track them down and they send them to prison, while the politicians who are committing the real crimes get to go to bed at night in their nice big mansions, and they get driven by chauffeur-driven limousines and surrounded by armed security details. But not you Americans. I don't, this whole January 6th thing and how they're trying to make more of it than it really is off the chain. 20 federal agents raided the home of prominent VAXX mandate critic and America's Frontline Doctor founder, Dr. Simone Gold, before she was sentenced to prison for 2 frickin' months in connection with a January 6th trespassing charge. Trespassing in a public building. Oh, disrupting a meeting of the politicians, the political parasites who are planning to suck more blood away from the American people. A federal judge on Thursday sentenced Simone Gold, the founder of the anti-VAXX group Americans Frontline Doctors, to 60 days in prison for trespassing in the U.S. Capitol during the January 6th, 2021 attack. The worst attack since Pearl Harbor, since 9/11. It's January 6th. Holy cow, somebody do something. Batten down the hatches. Blasting her for using her legal woes to raise $430,000 for herself and her organization. U.S. District Judge Christopher R. Cooper said that Gold, who pleaded guilty in March, what did she plead guilty to? Stay tuned. Failed to show remorse or accept responsibility for her actions during the riot, end quote. Quote, he noted, this judge, Cooper, noted that she had claimed in an interview with the Washington Post that, quote, where I was incredibly peaceful. When video showed that the emergency room physician and Stanford-trained attorney did nothing as a mob she was with dragged a police officer to the ground. The judge also called it a disservice to the true victims that day that Gold has given supporters the misimpression that she was politically persecuted for giving a speech and raised $430,000 for her personal and organizational expenses. January 6th was about a lot of things, Cooper said, this judge. But it was not about the First Amendment, and it was certainly not about COVID treatment or vaccines. Well, you could say that same thing about Congress. Congress may be about a lot of things, but they're not about protecting our Second Amendment rights. They're not about protecting our First Amendment rights. They're not about protecting our Fourth Amendment rights. As a matter of fact, they're not for protecting any rights. They're for taking our rights, making us less free, and leaving us impoverished. But Gold refuted the judge's assertions and acknowledged that she should not have entered the Capitol building. Here's what she says, according to this report. Quote, I was misguided. I should not have entered. Why? Why? It's a public building. You have the right to, you have the freedom to enter a public building that American taxpayers paid for. Everything I did on January 6th, misguided or not, was consistent with my effort to do my best for people. The judge editorialized in misleading fashion about the consequences of January 6th. Quote, I have heard a lot about how you were not able to fly, Cooper said, but I haven't heard anything about the 5 people who died. Like it's her responsibility? Like it's her fault? The 4 people who committed suicide afterward. The only person who was directly killed in the events of January 6th was Ashley Babbitt, supposedly, reportedly, who was an unarmed Trump supporter who was shot at point blank range. I wouldn't call it point blank, by Lieutenant Michael Byrd. It is judicial malpractice to assign guilt to a defendant for a crime that he or she did not commit. It certainly is political to hold prisoners indefinitely without trial, as the Constitution promises all of the accused, and was a right that civil rights attorneys fought to defend on behalf of the deadly terrorists following the 9/11. And it's an abuse of law enforcement to send in 20 agents, I can't even imagine that, to apprehend a defendant who is not dangerous and has not been shown to be a flight risk. You know, they could have literally just sent her a letter. She probably would have shown up. Please, we have a court date for you. No need for us to send 20 federal agents in there all armed up. And you know they went in there with the riot gear. You know they went in there ready to go. You got your flashbang ready. You got your rifles ready. You standing behind your shields. You got the MRAP, 5 MRAPs parked out in the front lawn. They could have sent her a letter. I'm sure she would have gone in. Throughout the aftermath of January 6th, the Department of Injustice was wantonly violating the rights of the defendants to receive a speedy trial. They are effectively holding political prisoners in some case over misdemeanors. In addition, it has failed to release potentially exculpatory evidence in the form of 14,000 hours of surveillance footage. Even worse, the FBI abused the FISA court for mass warrantless surveillance. They're good at mass warrantless surveillance, by the way. Thereby proving that the Bureau knew months in advance a Capitol riot was a major possibility, if not planned it. I mean, a lot of people are speculating, not me, of course, that a lot of people out on the front lawn and a lot of people who were out there were actually spurring it on and possibly belonged to the FBI themselves. So it's pretty interesting that they would send 20 federal agents to pick up an anti-VAXXer to make her look as bad as possible, throw her in the clink for 60 days. Never harmed anybody, never threatened to harm anybody, never stole anybody's stuff. But politicians harm people all the time through their edicts and their scribblings, their writings on these fancy pieces of paper. They're always coming up with ways to brutalize the American people, send our sons and daughters off to war, and purchase military supplies for one of the most corrupt countries in the world, Ukraine, while blaming everything on Russia. With all the crazy stated plans of the Great Reset, the currency reset, and even the food reset, it's not a matter of if the store shelves are going to clear and there's a lack of food. The question is when. You need to get long-term storable food. It doesn't matter if it's from me or you just go to the store and you buy food. Just grab dry, storable food while you can. If you want to get it from me, you're going to support the channel and you're going to help yourself out because my link has a discount code embedded within it. You can check that out in the description below.